to the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
Nobody ever says, "Hey, Daddy, thanks for knocking out this rent."
Who says dads can't change diapers?
I'm the cool dad. That's my thing. I'm hip. I surf the web. I text LOL, WTF, why the face.
Your boy's a handsome lad.
Thanks. She's actually a girl. It's my daughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, her hair just refuses to grow.
Coming to you live from the Dads Who Diaper studio, it's Paul and Chad.
It is the Dads Who Diaper podcast. I am Paul Snowden, the man to my left, who's crying in a sad little corner for his Washington State quarterback, the number one passer in the college football,
the entire country,
who broke his leg. The only good thing Washington State had when it comes to football is over.
You know, I wish I could say that was going to be the turning point of our year and make us not be successful after that. But unfortunately, we haven't been all that successful prior to, with the exception of his just rocket arm. But you know what? That's all right.
No, you were already terrible. Now you're just going to be more terrible.
Terrible. We're terrible. Charles Barkley, we're terrible. We're in a rebuilding generation. This
is a rebuilding century.
We've got Mike Leach. He's doing good things. Here's the thing.
When is his good things going to start kicking in?
Well, okay. People on the podcast don't really care about this, but
okay, I'll let you have 30 seconds to vent.
So he came in, he had to completely revitalize and turn around a program that had been on the decline for years, and you're not going to do that in 1 year, especially with guys that you haven't recruited. So he's had to...
Even though technically this is his third year?
You're cutting into my 30 seconds. So he is just now getting his recruits that he's been able to recruit, moving through his system and starting to build what he wants as his program. And not to disrespect the guys that were already there, because they did exactly what they were told to do, and it's just tough to compete in the Pac-12. So I have faith that we are going to make that switch. And let's be honest, we've been competitive this year. We almost beat Oregon. We did beat Utah. We hung on with USC for a while, and
your 30 seconds is running out.
I know, and so we've been competitive, and in past seasons we weren't even that. So we made it to a bowl game last year. So you know what, we're on the upward trajectory.
That was the longest Dads Who Diaper intro in the history of our intros, but that's okay.
Hey, you set me up for it.
I did. I just know you were so sad. You have your black armband and everything.
Oh, geez.
So this week on the podcast, we're going to recap Halloween a little bit.
Yeah.
See how fat Elvis did. I'm sorry, intermediate Elvis. Your kid's not quite skinny Elvis. He's not quite fat Elvis.
He's intermediate Elvis.
He just discovered banana bacon sandwiches.
We're close, yes. But it was a good time. And we'll talk a little bit more about Halloween and how we all experienced it.
And then we also will recap my Saturday adventure on trying to potty train my child. We decided to make the go of it, where you spend an entire day like locked in the basement with a potty and no pants. And no pants for him.
No, not for you.
Yeah.
Gosh, Paul's peeing on the floor again. How would you rate that day? Like, what would you give it as a parent?
It's a pretty low day, buddy. We don't want to give anything away, but like the day itself, no matter whether it's successful or not successful, the day sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks is a strong word. It's just not a lot of fun. Because you're not, it's like, imagine being locked in a 10 by 20 room with your kid and Daniel Tiger all day.
Ugh.
And pee all over the floor.
Did you take turns? I know we'll get into this, but did you take turns, you and your wife, like spending time with him, or how did you do it?
Not really. We mostly just both stayed in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you make fun of me. That's your future, pal.
Hey, I'm not making fun. I'm sympathizing. I'm sympathetic. But yes, we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up as well.
And then real quickly, I know we haven't had time to completely digest this, but Adrian Peterson looks like he will agree to a plea bargain on his spanking case. He will not serve any time. He won't serve any probation. It'll be like community service, and it'll be like going to parenting classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what's your first take on that? Did he deserve to go to jail? What do you think? I'll tell you, I think that maybe if he initially just said, I did something wrong here, I need to be a better parent, it went too far, it probably would have taken care of itself. Because spanking is controversial in this country. Most people will not hold it against a parent if they spank, regular spanking. But this went too far on the spanking meter, by far.
Yeah, way too far.
Way too far. But if he had admitted it went too far, I'll take some class to be a better parent, never happen again, it would have gone away.
But wasn't that part of the problem that there was a history shown of previous experiences as well?
I don't remember.
Saying it's not going to happen again may not hold that weight in court from coming from him.
I don't know if there's a long history of that. I don't remember that, but I do know that he was very outspoken initially. Like, I did nothing wrong. I was raised on spanking. I'm going to spank my kid. Shut up and take it.
Right. Well, and I think, you can be raised that way. That's fine. You can believe that, but there's a level, a line that if you cross, it doesn't matter. Like it no longer constitutes as just parenting. It constitutes as physical
abuse.
Harm. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just hearing this for the first time as you read it. It doesn't necessarily surprise me that that's the route that it's going, but clearly he's going to be watched, and this is something that is going to affect him long beyond just taking parenting classes and checking in with the court. Because, I mean, if you just have one little misstep again in any sort of realm of this type, then again, it goes back to the possibility of pattern behavior and those kinds of things.
I think it was a double-edged sword. It would be hard for any prosecutor to convict a person of spanking in Texas, where I read spanking is very prevalent. And a jury probably wouldn't convict him of spanking. Mm-hmm. But I think maybe by now he might have realized that he did something wrong. It maybe went too far. And if it took a while to come to the fact to admit to it, be strong enough as a dad to say, look, like, I seriously screwed up here.
Well, and there is something to be said about being, and his parents came to his defense and saying, yes, we used spanking in our family. And when you firmly believe that you didn't do anything wrong because that's all you've known your life, I can grasp that to an extent. But again, and the description of the photos that were being talked about in the media and being released on newspaper articles and stuff, like, I don't know how you justify that. There is, in my mind, I don't care what kind of upbringing you had. You stop the trend with you, and you need to be able to do that. And just reading about the description of those photos, clearly that was not the case. It wasn't just spanking.
Yeah, the only thing I can say, and I'm not going to say defense because that's the wrong word, is that clearly he went too far. The switch or whatever he used was too much. But if you've ever seen a kid get spanked, they squirm around and move like nobody's business. It's hard to aim when you're trying to spank a kid. I'll leave it there. I mean, that's just, obviously still, I do 100% went too far. But it is hard to aim when you're trying to spank a kid. Look, I was that kid who got spanked and he moved around, squirm, and next thing you know, you get slapped in the mid-thigh when they met your butt.
Right. Yeah, hopefully this means he's got a new approach on things and a new understanding.
Well, I'm saying,
the ramifications.
If he can have some parenting class and be a better parent at the end, maybe it's all for good at the end.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what we all can hope for, right? That we all are constantly trying to be better parents.
Well, if you look at even the justice system of jail, or the whole point supposedly is bringing somebody to become a better person. Mm-hmm. Just putting them in jail for 10 years doesn't do anything.
Right.
At the end, you want them to be a better person when they come out and join society. Mm-hmm. So if he can come out and be a better parent, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yes, it's difficult that it took something like this to make it happen, but you're right. You do want things to be better at the end.
And then, by the way, the Vikings will probably not bring him back, so if they want to trade him to the Miami Dolphins, it'd be fine.
Oh, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Well, the Dolphins are doing okay without him.
Maybe even better with him.
Oh,
But he'll probably go to the Cowboys, is what they always say.
What are your quick thoughts about the fact that these professional athletes get repeated chances? That if it was somebody, you or me or Joe Schmo down the street, and this whole process, they'd be lambasted in the news like he was, and the likelihood of them being able to turn right around and jump back into something is not as high as it is with these professional athletes.
Well, I don't think it's athletes. I've always said it's pretty much anyone who has a particular skill set. If you were the smartest app developer in the world, if you screwed up at Apple, Facebook would pick you up. If you were the smartest football player, mathematician, people who are geniuses at their field get more breaks because there's so few of them. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make it right. It just means that they're such a commodity that they're needed in their field. Mm-hmm. I mean, you and I don't have as many chances. I mean, we screw up one time, the one place we beg to get into lets us go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Doesn't make it right or wrong, but there's also more of a window on them. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you and I spanked our kid, our work may never know.
Right.
But because he's in the press, his ex-wife might have gone to the leaked at the press because she knows that can happen.
Right. He's worth money and
exactly.
money talks.
I mean, initially he said that she was trying to get more money or custody out of him anyway, and that's why she did that. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. I just it's difficult for me to kind of rectify that he gets to turn around and immediately continue as if nothing happened. I know he doesn't feel that way because his life is going to change, but to me, it's difficult on a myriad of different topics, not just him. But I have a hard time justifying that there are people that get to do that.
But what good has come from him never working again? Obviously, he'll be hurt. He'll probably never get another endorsement. He'll never get like ESPN, Nike money. Mm-hmm. But I mean, him never working again doesn't help anybody.
I'm not saying that, but it's
and he has to carry that the rest of his life.
He does, and that's a tough badge to carry. But it just seems that, and it goes to your point that when you're an expert in your field, people are willing to give you a break. There's not a lot from the outside looking in. That doesn't appear to be a lot of I don't really know the word I'm looking for, but basically, okay, sure, come join our team. Fine, we know.
No repercussions.
Yeah, no repercussions of the fact that you're like, hey, why don't you take a little time and think about this, go to those parenting classes, and come back and show us that you're a better person. Instead, it's, hey, come play football for us, score touchdowns, and while you're doing that, go take these parenting classes.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, remember Richie Incognito last year who was bullying on the Miami Dolphins? Mm-hmm. He was essentially an all-pro offensive tackle.
Right.
He has not got picked up by anyone. He is still unemployed. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the repercussions for him were completely, he doesn't work at all.
Right.
So, I mean, he is totally ruined.
But you know what? He wasn't a superstar at the time.
But you know what? He was almost a superstar. I mean, he was legitimately a player 32 teams would pick up if it wasn't for bullying.
Right. But if you ask prior to that whole incident, if you were to ask a casual football fan, do you know who Richie Incognito is? They'd probably say no.
Yeah.
But if you ask, do you know who Adrian Peterson is? They'd probably say yes. And so to me, like, that's the difference. Because, and again, to your point, because Adrian is who he is, people are willing to give him another shot. Because Richie is who he was, they're saying, you know what, we can do without him. Because he didn't sell jerseys. He didn't sell jerseys. He didn't sell tickets per se. He didn't have a media friendly approach. He wasn't just out there like Adrian Peterson was. And prior to this, Adrian was a pretty stand up guy. I don't remember any big things with him. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So, again, it's just kind of like, and I don't think you get knocked out because you had one misstep. We've all had missteps in our lives. But again, depending on where you are on that hierarchy, more people are willing to turn a blind eye or just say, you know what, do whatever it is you need to do. But in the meantime, come do whatever it is we need you to do.
Now, Chad and I didn't mean to turn this into a full segment. I just saw it scrolling across the breaking news banner on our television here in the studio.
Oh, right.
But I mean, I am truly, honestly curious about this. So email dads@dadswhodiaper or just in the comment section of our podcast. Will you accept Adrian Peterson back as a football player? Will you hold it against him? I mean, kind of overall, what do you think of him coming back to the NFL? Will you support him? Will you boo him? Are you neutral, like giving him a second chance? I'd love to honestly really know as a dad or if you're listening as a mom, just what do you think of this scenario? And coming out of this, what do you think of him?
Right. And how do you, if you were a big fan of his, or maybe your children were a big fan of his, what do you do? Like, are you going to continue to be that fan? Are you going to talk to your kids about it? How are you going to?
I mean, how could you buy a kid's jersey for Adrian Peterson nowadays and put it on your kid?
Yeah.
All right. So dads@dadswhodiaper.com or right there, the post on the podcast. As you mentioned, coming up, a Halloween recap. And was I able to potty train my child in one day? That's all next. It's the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
It's the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
My man Chad here spends so much time on our newsletter. If you haven't seen it, it looks great. At night, he's in his little hovel of the closet. He has an office that's called. He has his 4 Starbucks up all night working on it. And all he asks is you go to our website and sign up, dadswhodiaper.com, enter your email, and get Chad's newsletter.
It's not, I assemble it. However, it's got awesome content from both of us.
Don't make Chad cry.
Oh.
Go to our website, sign up for the newsletter. All we need is your email address, and we're not one of those people who give you emails like constantly.
No, once a week.
And we're not those people who sell your email to other people because we don't know how to do that. So we just give you one email a week. You get discount coupons we acquire through our partners. You get links to our articles. You get links to the reviews we put out and all the behind-the-scene things. Wink, wink. Things are coming out soon. You're going to know about it first with the newsletter.
Yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things that we're working on. Of course, we're entering the holiday season, so there's a lot of big stuff coming up. And, it's one of those things that shows up in your mailbox on Monday morning. You get to take a look around. You get to sit back and relax because I know you've got tons of time to do so. And everything that's great about Dads Who Diaper just served up on a newsletter platter for you each and every week. It's that simple.
Let's be honest. You pretty much work half of Tuesday, all of Wednesday, and half of Thursday. That's pretty much all you do. Monday, Fridays are total wastes at work.
I just write them off.
Yes, they are gone to me. Poof. They're just. And so if you need time filling the void of wasted space where you're pretending to work at work, subscribe to the Dads Who Diaper newsletter.
Like, if you didn't catch it, it kind of set the internet on fire maybe a week ago or so. But LeVar Burton of Reading Rainbow fame read the infamous parenting children's book, Go the F to Sleep. And it was great. If you didn't watch that video, it was fantastic. So in our newsletter, I serve it right up for you. Go in the bathroom, lock yourself in for like 2 minutes because the kids are probably pounding on the door trying to get in, and just give yourself a laugh. And I've got it all right there for you in our weekly newsletter.
Or if you try to get your kid to sleep and he won't, you kind of cry listening to that.
Exactly. That's probably why that book is so popular. And by the way, the sequel is coming out next week. You Have to Effing Eat is the sequel to the book. And I got an advance copy of it. It's very good. It's much in the same similar theme as Go the F to Sleep. And we've got an interview with the author coming up on Dads Who Diaper as well. So it's good stuff.
Just wait till Hollywood ruins it and it's some movie starring Will Ferrell or Steve Carell.
Yeah, featuring, the cast of funnyordie.com. Yeah, but actually, now that you say that, did you see that they are making a movie about Go the F to Sleep?
No.
Yes.
I was joking.
I know you were, but in reality, they are making a movie out of it. But nonetheless, the book is pretty good, and the new one is as well.
So we had talked the last couple of weeks about potty training, and we even had the expert on, Jamie Glowacki. And it came down to it on Saturday was the day that we followed some of her advice, and we tried to potty train our child. What we did was we took him downstairs, and we took his diaper and pants off, and we brought the little potty down. And all we did all day was feed him water. Just pumped him full of juice and water and snacks and everything else. And every 10 minutes, you put him on the potty. Put him on the potty. And then if he starts to pee, you quickly put him on the potty. And
so how did that go?
Well, there's a lot of pee on my floor. So good thing we have hardwoods down there. But I think we've come, and we'll talk about kind of break down what happened. By the end, though, I don't think he's quite ready yet. They say you do this, and if he's not ready, you wait 6 weeks, try again.
Well, you're on the lower end of the spectrum.
He's 20 months old.
Right, to start this. So, according to Jamie.
Yeah, we only thought so because he says potty. We talk about potty all the time. He gets the concept, we think of what it is. And he's now started really he'll grab himself and say like, potty, potty. And he'll say, oh, do you have to go potty? Have to go. And then a couple times we'll try to run upstairs to the little potty. And by the time we get there, he's already gone number 2. So he obviously gave us warning, but it was like 20 seconds when we needed 45 seconds.
Right.
So he gets the concept and idea a lot of times for number 2.
Gotcha.
I don't think he gets any concept for number 1. That's one of the main problems we had.
What I really liked as a suggestion from Jamie when we had her on is when we talk about either moving to underwear or diapers or whatever, and she suggested nothing at all. And the rationale behind it makes perfect sense, although I wouldn't have thought of it ahead of time. But for them, it's muscle memory, for boys and for girls. And when you put either diapers or, normal underwear on, it's it's the same to them. It's still that restricted feeling, so they just kind of go whenever. So she said when leaving nothing on, going commando, if you will, it trains them, or at least helps them to understand that I'm not supposed to go right now. And so very interesting stuff to me that I hadn't even really thought about, because we're not there yet. But take notes for me, because I'm going to want to follow your plan when we get there.
Yeah, so we did the whole thing without the diaper or the pants, because we followed her advice on that. And it just, I don't think he was able to articulate when he had to pee, like ahead of time. And it's like, so he would start to pee, then we'd grab him, put him on the potty, he'd pee a bunch more. We're like, hey, you got to pee in there. We'd do a little dance, and we're very excited and give him high fives. But then next time, he wouldn't say anything. It'd still start to pee, he'd put him on the potty all over again. And it's like after like the 4th or 5th hour of doing this in the room.
4th or 5th hour.
Well, I mean, it's a commando thing. Like, you do this like all day. We just stayed down there. And we realized, you know what? The problem is he can't articulate when he has to pee. And so you're never going to be successful if he can't tell you when he has to pee.
Right.
I think you kind of get a feeling in your gut when you have to like go number 2, and he can articulate that. But when you're just letting it go, you're letting your your pee fly just all over the floor. There's no articulating that.
Right. So so you gave it a good whirl this go around. How long do you think you're going to wait before you give it another shot? A full 6 weeks?
Probably 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Just because there's no reason to like pound yourself with the head over an anvil constantly for no reason. I don't like cleaning up.
Or in this case, showering upon you.
Hopefully it wasn't showering on me on our floor. But I mean, there's no reason to go through the frustration, because as much as he loves being down there, it's like after a while, even he was like, I want to get out of this room.
Yeah.
Why are you locking me in here? Pumping me full of water.
Right.
I don't want any more water.
Nothing else. So when are you going to work on anything within that 6 to 8 weeks to kind of help?
We will continue to talk about potty constantly. Like, this is the potty. Use the potty. You talk about that. We also read that's good to show episodes or cartoons or things about the potty. Like there is a Bear in the Big Blue House episode where he talks about potty. And so we've shown that a couple times since then, just to kind of maybe articulate and have other people talk about potty. There's some Elmo things about potties. So you're just hitting him over the head constantly with the potty.
How does he react, or does he kind of have any sort of comprehension when you show him those types of videos about that particular topic?
He watches them. I cannot guarantee what articulation goes in his brain about it. Sure. But he's watching them.
Okay.
And so the word potty's used. People show sitting down. Hopefully that's enough to get it together.
Right.
I mean, we've already started the unfortunate habit that Jamie said don't do.
Rewards.
Rewards. we don't do the candy, which never did the candy. Which,
okay.
Luckily enough, we hadn't gotten there yet.
Which is amazing, because the amount of candy you have around your house at all times is astonishing.
It is astonishing, but we never started rewarding him because he never actually kind of went in the bathroom, the potty. We would have used candy. We would have. But what we did start was whenever he sat down, we would bribe him letting him use my wife's phone. Like you can watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse on the phone when you sit on the potty. And so now he'll ask to sit on the potty, and you'll be excited because he's like, oh, he potty. We'll run up, put him on the potty. He'll go, Mickey phone? Mickey phone? And he'll be like, okay, Mickey phone, fine, whatever it takes to go to the bathroom.
And then he doesn't do anything.
No, he'll just sit there and play the Mickey and watch like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
So he's got you.
He does have us. And so, our choices are either try to take it away and have him freak out and not sit on the potty at all.
Right.
Or keep going and know he's gaming the system most of the time.
What would you, so through this process so far, you're at 20 months old, is there anything you would have changed in your approach so far?
Not really. I think we introduced the concept of the potty at the right time, just bringing it up. We have it next to his bathtub. So every day we had him sit on it before he went into the bath. We had him talk about the potty. He knows what it is. He technically knows what you do on the potty, and that's fine. Obviously, we probably would have not given him the phone to sit down on the potty. I mean, maybe a mundane toy that he has anyway. Maybe save a toy for that. Oh, same concept, really, though. And then we probably started too early on the extreme daycare day of potty training. If there's some way, which I'll find out later about, if he starts to recognize when he has to pee, that's when you'd need to do it. Because if he can't articulate when he has to pee, then there's no reason to do it because you're not going to catch anything.
Yeah, you're not going to, there's nothing to be forewarned about. Okay. So then when you retry this in 6 to 8 weeks, what approach are you going to take? You're going to kind of continue with what you've done? Are you going to work on eliminating the phone from the situation? Or
to be honest, we probably won't.
Okay.
We should, but being an honest parent with ourselves, we'll probably stick with the phone as kind of reward.
Mhm.
To be sitting, at least a carrot that we dangle for him to sit on the potty.
Right.
And we'll do the same thing where we start at like 6 in the morning. We strip his pants off, strip his underwear off. We hang out. Oh, there we go. Turn the microphone back on helps.
Hello.
We turn the TV on. We, sadly enough, let him kind of watch TV that day. We pump him full of liquids, and just every 15 minutes, you put him on the potty.
Mm-hmm.
You watch him very closely. If he says potty, throw him on. If he acts like he has to go potty, you throw him on. Every 10 minutes, either way, you throw him on. And then you just, excuse me. And then just slowly teach him that he has to use the potty. And then the technique or books say that by the end of the day, he hopefully will have grasped the concept. It's like the first step that you build upon after that.
Right. Well, and in Jamie's book, she talks about basically 3 days, in a marathon of 3 days, that you can ultimately be pretty successful. And she talked about when she told all of her friends, like, you're not going to see me for the next 3 days, the next week. I'm checking out. We're doing potty training. We'll see you on the other side. And everybody thought she was crazy, but for her, it worked. And so she kind of developed this whole thing. So then are you going to do that, or are you going to try and, once we get to this 6 to 8 week period, are you going to do it multiple days in a row, or are you going to kind of stretch it out?
I think we would build upon something. If it worked after the end of the first day, then you'd say, all right, he's kind of advanced the concept, hopefully. And the next day, maybe you put underwear on, but you keep talking about it all day, or if he has an accident, you take the pants off and keep going, But you do build upon it. You try to quickly build a skill set right away that you can encourage and reinforce.
Right.
Now, in your house, have you bought a small potty yet?
No, we're not there yet.
How many months is he?
13.
13 months. You are a little early for that.
Yeah.
But at what point are you gonna try to introduce it early?
I don't know.
Just the concept of potty.
Yeah, he's seen. I can't believe. Every parent says this. He seems pretty advanced. At 13 months, I'm
about to say that, every parent, we should have an article about that one time, is every parent thinks their kid's a genius. There's no parent who says, well, my kid's kind of stupid.
I just don't know if they're going to make it. No, the reason I say that is because of all of it, you can ask him, go find your airplane, go find this, go find that, go bring me this, and he'll do it. He knows the names of all of his animals, and so he's probably not much different than many other kids out there, but he's clearly understanding.
Well, plus that time he told you to invest in a high-risk mutual fund.
Yeah, him and the, what is that, the E-Trade baby?
Yes.
They got up together and started giving me some stock tips. Because he can do that and he can grasp certain objects now, does he always understand what they are? Not really, but it might be worth it for us to try a little bit early. Who knows what the results may be.
I'm really starting to think it's differentiated because, being a smart kid is different than having your body send some kind of, thing like, hey, I have to pee.
Right, and, I need to communicate that, and I need to do it with enough time to get me to whatever location I need to go.
Because my son is pretty well advanced when it comes to speaking. In his classroom, the teacher said, he's, more articulate than all the other kids. But I don't know if he gets whatever feeling the body sends to him quite yet, that, hey, I have to pee.
Right. Or that they understand that that's what it is.
That feeling is.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I think, we may certainly introduce a potty early. And
I think there's no harm. Most people are going to buy one anyway.
Right.
So at 14, 15 months, you buy one just to keep one by the bathtub every night, and you can point to it and say, potty, 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 and he knows the word potty. There's no harm in that.
Yeah. It's a good first step, if you will. So we'll have to wait and see. We're not far from being on the early ends, so we've certainly got some time. But we'll see. And it's one of those things where everybody is different, but yet there's a clear kind of delineation of what's successful. And so we're just trying to at least be as successful as we can on the first try.
My wife had some crock pot party with like a bunch of her like lady friends came over, and I had to work the Blazer game that night, but I came back the last like 20 minutes of the party, and one woman there had almost a 4-year-old girl, and she was still in diapers, which I guess is still in the window, but to me it just seemed old, and I'm like, gosh, I hope Carver's not still in diapers at like 4.
Yeah. Did she say why or what?
I didn't ask. It seemed kind of rude to be like, why is your kid still in diapers?
I didn't know. Maybe she had brought it up. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, and that's the tough thing about being a parent. Like there's you could have 3 children and all 3 of them do it at a different pace or a different time. And all 3 of them happen to, you know, one may last longer than the other. And so that's the thing. Like there's no flipping of a switch. There's no guarantee. And so, I hope I'm not that parent, but at the same time, like, who knows? It very well could happen.
I love right there, too. It was a parenting shift right there, Chad Carter. We all do it. You were going to say the word hate, but then, like, you know, parents, you're not supposed to use hate a lot.
Yes.
So you took it out of your vocabulary, even though you didn't need to. You're trying to train yourself not to say, like, hate.
It's one of those things. Like, are there, now that Carver is speaking, are there words that you don't use around the house? And this is a whole other topic. We'll just do a very short, quick bit of it. But are there words that you don't use anymore?
I still occasionally slip up and curse quite a bit. Like when my wife will have some conversation, I use it like a comedic sense. Like I use it for punchline. Like if I need to punch up a story, I'll use like a curse word. But then you got to be careful around the kid. I guess my wife used some kind of word in the car a couple days ago, so I'm going to cut her off. And he immediately repeated it. Like immediately, just said it in the back seat.
Oh, boy.
And so we're like, oh, you don't want to be that kid who's at daycare and says that word.
That's tough because then you're the parents who have the kid who does that, who's then teaching it to all the other kids. And then those kids' parents don't like you anymore.
Well, it's not as bad as having the biter.
Well, we're kind of going through that stage right now.
Oh, is your kid the biter?
Well, he doesn't go to daycare, but he's definitely, and it happens predominantly when he's getting sleepy and we think he wants his passy or something. But yeah, he'll come up and start kind of trying to bite on your shoulder a little bit. We're like, no. Biting is not okay. But hopefully we can nip that in the bud real quick.
All right. So if your kid's still in diapers at age 6, 7, 8, I want to know this. No, if you have a great diapering tip, not just for me, but for the Dads Who Diaper audience, you know, if you have some kind of a master tip overnight going to make this kid a perfect success in the little potty, please go to the comment section for this podcast, dadswhodiaper.com. You'll see it right there in the feature window more than likely. If not, you can always search for the podcast. Leave a comment in the bottom. Be a podcast potty training master. It's dadswhodiaper.com.
It's time now for our beloved holiday tradition. Hey, Jimmy Kimmel, I told my kids I ate all their Halloween candy.
Last night I ate all your candy.
Why?
Because it was good.
You ruined my life!
Yeah, we ate it all while you were sleeping.
No!
Oh, man! I'm going to eat it all. Jimmy Kimmel said I should eat all your candy. Okay, I'm going to eat it all. Yeah, I'm going to eat it. Okay, this is for me. Well, let's see. Jimmy Kimmel said I should eat this too. Okay, I think I'll eat it.
All of it?
All of it.
Every single bite?
Yeah.
You must have a bellyache.
I got hungry last night.
Eat an apple.
From the website Dads Who Diaper comes the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
Chad, you know raising a kid can be very expensive, right?
I've heard.
Well, I mean, as you might know by now, kids seem to eat a lot. As they grow, they're eating all the time.
Nonstop, although they're picky about it. But yes, they do eat quite a bit.
I have discovered a low-cost way, almost free, one might say, to feed your child.
What?
Darn right.
I don't believe it.
You want to know what it is?
Yes.
Costco samples.
Oh, jeez.
Sometimes when I pick up my kid, it's like 4 o'clock, I have to kill some time. I just drive to Costco and just walk around the cart and feed my kid with samples.
Does he like them all?
Mostly, yeah. Was it yesterday or like Friday? It was like a pulled pork rice sample.
Oh, okay.
Pulled pork chicken and whatever, barbecued pulled chicken or whatever and rice. Oh, he loved that one.
Nice.
There was like an egg roll sample. Was a couple juice samples he partook of, like a cheese sample, a cracker sample.
So then, did you have to feed him later that day?
See, the thing is, I take two because one for me, one for him.
Well, of course.
And then I just give him both samples. And so really, I fed that kid for like nothing.
So did you actually buy anything at Costco?
Okay, that day we didn't buy anything. Most days we usually do buy something, but that day we just went in for the samples.
And you just got the cart just to make it look like you might buy something.
Well, I got the cart because I'm so lazy I don't want to carry him.
We took our little guy to the grocery store for the first time the other day.
He's never been to the grocery store?
No, he's been, but usually only as a baby and still in his infant carrier. Since I do the grocery shopping in the house, I don't necessarily like to do it. So I want to get in and get out as fast as humanly possible. I know where everything is. It doesn't take me long to do the whole process, especially if there's no line at the checkout. But we were out and about. We needed to do some shopping, and we were going to try and cook a bunch of stuff to prep, and my wife wanted to prep a bunch of things for the upcoming week and whatnot. So we were all together. So we took him for the first time where he was actually able to like really take in what was going on. We put him in the back of the cart there, and he was just mesmerized by the whole experience. Like he just would not stop staring, looking here, looking there, and just wide-eyed gaze the whole time. And it actually was pretty entertaining to watch. And he didn't talk the entire time. Like he would just kind of point and have this glazed over look of like, I've never seen so many things in my life all at once.
Oh my gosh, they make caramel candy Oreos now.
What? Yeah. And so it was kind of it was a very entertaining experience. Now, I don't plan to take him back anytime soon.
See, I'm curious about this. Why do you not just bring him with you when you do chores?
Because it's quicker and easier to do without him. Because I don't have to spend time taking him out of the car seat, putting him in.
But don't you and your wife go shopping on Sunday or Saturday?
No, I usually just go by myself. Again, because it's so much. I can do an entire week's worth of shopping in half the time getting out of the house by myself and doing it than if I were to take him or if all three of us were to go. Also, because my wife is one of those kinds of people who doesn't obey the list and just walks casually up and down the aisles and puts anything she wants into the cart. And so it takes forever. She'll stop. Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. Puts it in the cart. Takes 2 steps forward. Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, it takes forever.
Next thing you know, 4 hours later, you have $300 in groceries.
Exactly. Whereas with me, I know, again, where everything is. I know just what we need. I've got a mental stockpile in my brain of what we're out of and all that good stuff. So I would much just prefer to go in, do it myself, and get out.
Speaking of groceries, I'll pass this on as parents might enjoy this. My wife and I found a new app for our iPhone called Our Groceries.
R letter or O-U-R?
O-U-R.
Okay.
Groceries.
Gotcha.
And what it does, it syncs between my phone and my wife's phone. And there's lists where she can put something on the grocery list, like we have Walmart, Target, drugstore, and she'll put something on there, and then I can see what's on those lists. So I'll see like, oh, apparently we need these 9 things at Walmart. I'm by Walmart. I'll swing by, pick them up. I'll take them off the list, and it takes them off her phone as well.
Interesting.
And so anytime both of us can add stuff to the list, and anytime both of us can delete stuff off the list.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
It is kind of fun. I saw that, and I thought at first, well, I'll try this. It won't really be that big a deal. But it's actually really been pretty effective because my wife will make up grocery lists at work. She'll start adding things, and I'll just see 15 new things are on our Walmart list. Walmart's by the radio station. And then I will just, as I'm handing my phone to Chad here.
Yeah, I want to see this thing.
And then I'll see and I'm by Walmart at the radio station. I'll swing by, pick up these 12 things, and then I'll take them off the list. And my wife will see he bought those 4 things.
Huh. I mean, I like it because it's super basic. I mean,
yes.
It's not really difficult to navigate, so it appears. And it's just, this is as a parent kind of fantastic. Because, I mean, that's the thing. And we're always like, oh, we need this. And it's like, oh, let's write it on the chalkboard in the kitchen, or let's write a note and this and that, or let's start a list. And then, we're in the process of selling our house, so we have to hide things at a moment's notice. And then where did the list go? So I like this. This is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I found a big list of like iPhone apps you should own that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to go over a couple other times. I found some that are actually really great. And, I don't want this to turn into an iPhone or an Apple, app segment.
Right.
But there are some really interesting ones, one including called Fast Customer, where if you need to like call Comcast, you just open this app, you press Comcast, and then what it'll do is it'll actually navigate through it for you, and it'll put you on hold, and then ring your phone when it's your turn to talk to the person.
Wait a darn minute.
And it has
what?
And it has thousands and thousands of companies. So you just find whatever company you're trying to contact at that time, Comcast, DirecTV, Bank of America, Chase, American Express, Apple, whatever. Press Apple button, and they'll say, all right, we'll let you know when it's your turn, and your phone will ring when it's your turn to talk to the person.
I like that. Now, quick question. Does that mean so your phone is technically being used at that time, or can you still receive other calls?
I think you can receive other calls.
Wow.
The app is just taking care of it. Once the app knows it's your turn to talk, because I guess once the service person picks up and they say like, oh, this is Bob from Apple. How can I help you? It'll say like, please hold. We will now contact the... And so it's reversed.
That's kind of a fantastic little trick to play on them.
And because the way telemarketer people work, they can't hang up, so they'll have to wait. So they wait the 30 seconds, your phone rings, you pick it up, and you start talking to the person. And you never have to wait for somebody.
Oh, and what's that app called?
It's called Fast Customer.
Fast Customer. Wow.
And that's another free app.
That can save people, just a ridiculous amount of time.
Exactly. So I've stumbled upon a bunch of really fun apps like that. And so I will have to do a post.
Yeah, we need to get that up. Those are things that people, those are life hacks right there.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, especially, in today's technological world. That's great. I like that. Well done, Paul.
Thank you. So, quick recap real quickly before we end this segment. Last week was Halloween.
Yes.
How was
Elvis?
Fat Elvis?
Fat Elvis was good. We weren't quite sure how he was going to take to it, and he did amazing. And the poor guy, we were making him wear sunglasses at night just because to go along with the whole costume. And at first, he didn't want anything to do with him, kept taking him off. So we'd go up to the door, we'd knock on the door, and then put the glasses on real quick. And then by the end, he just left them on. He was just a super trooper about the whole thing. He picked up on, I get to choose candy out of the basket real quick. He'd go, and then he'd take one, and then he'd try and start going back for another.
It's funny you mentioned that. My wife, I was talking about the exact same thing with our kid. It's like the second time, by the second door, he'd already got the concept of I reach out, I grab one, put it in the bucket.
Yeah.
And then I slowly move my hand back towards the basket, and then, because I'll usually be like, only one, buddy.
Yeah.
And of course, the house will be like, no, he can have another one. I'm like, okay, you're not really teaching my kid good habits here.
But nonetheless, we had a couple where we'd knock on the door and the person would come and they'd be like, Bob, come here. You got to come check out Elvis. So it was a lot of fun for him. And we had a wonderful time. Grandma and Grandpa came over, so we all went out together. And we live by a street that is known citywide for their Halloween. And I kid you not when I say there would be 50 people in front of one house, and then 2 doors down, there'd be another 50 people. It was, people were not even closing their door. They would just sit at their front door and wait, for people to come up. So we went there just for a little while, just to kind of take in the experience, and then we kind of went back around the corner.
How many kids come to your house for Halloween?
Gosh, not a whole lot.
Really?
Because they all go down the street to
okay.
So this street is, they go all out. The houses decorate. They just, it's a big event on that particular street. And so everybody knows, and I kid you not when I say that people drive in from other places around the city and park and then go trick-or-treating there. So we get maybe 20 to 40, I would say, whereas they get hundreds. And so it's, in some weird way, it's kind of nice because we don't have to deal with all of that. But at the same time, it's fun to give out candy. So we have a lot of the early birds. They kind of come on their way to the main street.
Here's the question, though. What happened to your kid's candy?
I don't know. It just mysteriously disappeared.
How many pieces was Wyatt allowed to eat?
That night, he didn't eat any. And to be honest, I don't know if he's had any. I haven't given him any. And I'm sure my wife has not given. So probably none.
So the kid will get no candy of the candy he collected.
Right.
He really was like the bait for your candy.
Yes. And you know what? We were called out on that at almost every stop, And people loved it. Like that's the thing. They had no problems with it whatsoever.
See, nobody called us out on it. Maybe because they know my kid will eat a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, we didn't. They're like, oh, look at mom and dad. They've got this set up well, But everybody was in such a good mood and good spirits that it didn't. It was
kind of nice. A couple people actually had things that weren't candy. Like they had a dollar store vibrating pumpkin, like a pull string, and a couple pencils and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
We went to one house and we were following up a group of kids, maybe 3 or 4 kids, and they knock on the door and say trick or treat, and the gentleman's passing out the stuff. And all of a sudden, one of the kid goes, apple cider. The guy was handing out apple cider, not candy. And the kid was extremely disappointed in that.
Wait, like a cup of apple cider?
No. Like a packet, like, hot chocolate in a pre-made packet or like Swiss Miss. So he was handing out hot cider or apple cider like that. And the kid goes, apple cider.
I can only hope that guy ran out of candy. Because no one should go into it with the idea of going to hand out apple cider.
That's how I would feel, but hey, what do I know?
I think it'd be funny one Halloween to be that guy who puts like a penny in each buck. Here's a penny. Don't spend it all in one place.
Now, you were giving out full-size candy bars. Did you give them all out?
Nobody knocked on our door.
No one?
No one.
Well, you do live down a steep, creepy driveway, so they probably just thought no one down there is going to celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, it's a risk versus reward time thing as a kid.
Yeah.
How many houses can I visit in the least amount of time?
Right.
And so they're like, well, if I go down there, it's going to take me 4 minutes. I could hit 3 other houses in the 3 minutes. As a kid, you really got to plan this out.
Right, but little did they know that a full-size candy bar was waiting for them.
As a kid, did you run door to door?
Oh, I'm sure I did it sometime.
Because I think we talked about before, I was a really poor kid. And so Halloween was really the only time I got candy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would save my candy throughout the entire year. I would ration it. I'd figure out, all right, 52 weeks a year, divide my candy stash by 52, and then I'd divide it. I could have 3 pieces a week. And then by the next Halloween, my candy bucket, I'd eat the last piece on the next Halloween.
That's amazing.
And so I would need as much candy as humanly possible to make it through the next year. And so, it was you start at 5:15 or whatever time was not ridiculously impossibly early.
Right.
And you'd run door to door to door. By the end, you're like, trick or treat, put it in the bag. Okay, thank you. Okay, I gotta go. And you're just running to the next house, and you have to you bring a separate bag to dump it out, because if you have a too full of bag, people won't give you much candy.
Right.
And so you have to have when you have an empty bag, people for some reason don't give you much candy either.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a slightly full bag, people give you more candy. Full-on kids will break that stuff down, I tell you. And so you have a second bag that you dump your main bag into so they don't see your main bag. And then, you go to door to door for I think I went 10 miles those nights.
Oh, geez.
You hit up apartment complexes, nice neighborhoods, houses that are close together.
The entire city.
Yeah, any rural houses or houses that are have oversized lots, don't go to those neighborhoods. It's not, the time management doesn't work on those candies.
That's funny. We did, we came after.
If your neighborhood gave out pennies or orange peanuts, I scratched it off for the next year.
You've got a map up on the wall of your bedroom.
It's like a circle with a compass where I know how many miles I can encompass. It's like one of those lost children reports.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, we handed out for a little while, then we went out and we did the old put the thing of candy on the porch with a little sign. Amazingly, we came back. There was still, clearly people had taken some, but there was still some left. So I just left it out there because I didn't want to go to the door anymore. And I heard a couple footsteps a couple of times, and I went to go get the basket at the end of the night. Gone.
Of course.
Even the sign was gone. Somebody just walked up and dumped that thing into their bag and took off.
Someone stole your sign.
Well, it was a handwritten on a piece of paper. Yeah. The sign just went straight into the bag of candy. They just didn't care. They were like, oh, jackpot, and took off.
Nice.
So, but it was a great Halloween, and he liked his costume, and it was a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to next year.
Now, when you got him in the costume, did your wife agree he might be Fat Elvis?
I don't know.
Did you bring it up to her?
I don't think we did. Well, my parents were there. I just kind of forgot about it, to be honest. But he's got a nice little belly.
We should take one of your Halloween photos and block out his face if you want. But then just have a vote on a quick poll. Skinny Elvis? Fat Elvis?
Although he's big into bananas and peanut butter, so clearly he probably trends more towards Fat Elvis.
Okay, we're really about to wrap this up, I promise, but my kid has become on this banana kick all of a sudden. Like, before bed, he'll, like, claim he's hungry. You're like, dude, you've had, like, 3 dinners. He's like, hungry.
Yeah, Costco, normal dinner.
Second dinner. He'll be like, hungry. I'm like, all right. So I'll bring in a banana. That kid will eat the entire banana.
Do you cut it up, or does he actually just eat it from the...
He just goes to town.
Nice.
But he'll eat like 3 bananas a day if you let him.
Ours is kind of that way. And just like yesterday, he started, like, if you say, Wyatt, what's this? He goes, nana. And so he's catching on to some of those words. But yeah, he's the same way, man. And I hate bananas. Despise them. Cannot eat them at all.
You don't hate them. You just don't like them.
See, that one, my feelings for it are so strong, I didn't even catch my parenting word choice.
Chad, we don't hate. Hate's a bad word.
It's a strong word. I severely dislike bananas and haven't eaten them in decades. And but he will eat them like candy.
All right.
That clearly he hasn't eaten yet.
That is our Halloween recap.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Chad's ability to steal his kids' candy.
Well, I borrowed till next year.
Borrowed till next year. All right, there you go. For more information like this, we still have some Halloween posts up, which are great. We're going to transition, of course, till Thanksgiving posts, move to Christmas posts.
The holidays are approaching.
I went to Costco. I saw those Halloween stuff.
The
Christmas stuff is already there.
Oh, yeah, it's been there for a while.
You can buy the 9-foot door wreath already at Costco.
Yes, but kudos to them. They are staying closed on Thanksgiving. So well done, Costco.
Well done, Costco. It's dadswhodiaper.com.
It's the Dads Who Diaper podcast.
So we want to help you find...
Help me help you.
Exactly. We'll find great products that are easy to use or work well. I mean, as a parent, it's all about making our lives easier, right, Paul?
Exactly. You know what? And some of our reviews even tell you to avoid this product.
Right. And so we have a wide selection of products that we reviewed on dadswhodiaper.com. And most recently, Paul, my esteemed colleague, reviewed the Skip Hop backpacks.
Yeah, it's part of their Zoo series.
Yes.
And it is ours, at least in our house, the one we used, was a little monkey backpack. And it's big enough to fit a few things. Snacks, has a drink pouch, put a diaper in there, and it also has a leash. So which is kind of nice for busy places. We took it to Disneyland. It worked really well for the kid not getting away. But I give the full review on the website dadswhodiaper.com. I talk about what I enjoyed, some of the things I think that could have done better, and then my overall recommendation.
We're not going to give away the recommendation, whether to buy it or not here, but go check it out. And while you're there, there's a lot of other things. We've reviewed bottles, strollers, toys, all sorts of various things.
Cozy coops.
Yeah, cozy coops and some food products, like all sorts of things there at your disposal. So go check it out. And if you have a product that you would like us to review or you want our take on, leave us a message there at the very bottom, or you can email us at dads@dadswhodiaper.com, and we will work on getting that up for you. And we really like those reviews, and we hope they help you make your life just a little bit easier.
Help me help you on dadswhodiaper.com.
Boom.
Boom.
So this week, we've talked a little bit about Halloween. We've talked about some great apps that are available. We talked a little bit about some timely news headlines that are going on. And just to go back to the very beginning of the podcast, we were talking about Adrian Peterson and the whole spanking thing. Earlier on a previous podcast, we actually talked to a psychologist about spanking and the concept of spanking. We've got his interview and that full podcast up on dadswhodiaper.com. So if you want to listen to that and get a little bit more of that, head on over to dadswhodiaper.com, and you can just find it very easily by searching there. And it gives you a little bit more background of what we were talking about earlier in today's podcast.
I'm trying to find quickly spanking. I'm trying to find the name of that guy. So, oh no!
I know. You know, when you do this, I think we're on episode 24 of our podcast now.
Yes.
And so, well, the people that we've interviewed, it's hard to go back and instantly
you know what? I was
remember.
going to mention, actually, you know what? We are on 25.
Are we on 25?
We are a quarter of 100.
Wow.
So I don't know whether it's this one we're excited about or next one when it's actually half a year.
I think next one. I mean, 25 is great, and that's the number everybody else celebrates. Let's celebrate 26. We'll maybe do a recap of our half-year podcasts.
I do a best of, but I'm not sure, if there's That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
They cut stuff up.
We don't have a producer sitting over in the corner taking care of that stuff for us and
I am
logging
the
all
producer.
that. You are, I know. So anywho, if you want to go on the website, check out that previous podcast interview, and we've also got a written form of it available for you, so you can get a little bit more about spanking. We talked about potty training this week and Paul's big experience and the day of, would you call it HE double hockey sticks or no?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It just wasn't great. I mean, if I would have come out of it with a potty-trained child or the steps would have leaned towards it, it would have been worth it.
Sure.
But obviously, by the end, having failure makes it kind of suck.
Right, that's true. There's more to come.
Oh, and then quickly, go to our website. I love Chad is already starting to have toy store selection, the best holiday toys.
Yes, the holidays are coming up, of course, just around the corner. Black Friday is later this month, and then you've got, what do they call it, Website Monday? Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday. So we are already starting to put the best toys, the ones that your kids are going to be clamoring for, up on our website. We have a 2014 holiday gift guide category. You can select that. There is more to come from what you see right now. We're getting a lot of contact from major retailers, and they're giving us some great stuff. So keep your eye on that. We'll be trying to post new things weekly under our holiday toy drive or toy guide.
Perfect. So for Chad Carter, I am Paul Snowden. Check out the website, dadswhodiaper.com. If you have a moment, go to iTunes. Leave us a review right there on the Dads Who Diaper podcast. Until next week, be a great parent, work hard, take your kids to the park, and don't get creeped out if you're the only dad there. I promise, other dads are in with you in spirit. It's Dads Who Diaper.